Welcome. In this video I'm going to be talking to you about flashcards and applications that we can use on the iPad to create flashcards, which are fantastic for studying and revision. So the first application I'm going to talk to you about is called StudyBlue, and you can see that's available on the App Store here. It's a free application, as you can see, free application, and there are upgrades available with more features. The second application that I'm going to talk to you about is this application here, again called Flashcards, but it's actually called Flashcards by Flatter World. This is a fantastic application. Again, it's free, but some of the best features of this application are on the Pro version, which needs to be paid. But you could still use this free one, and it still does plenty. The third application that I want to introduce to you is Flashcards Plus, which is this one here. And I'll just show it you on the App Store. Flashcards Plus, again, a free application. Does have limitations, this one, but it's free and it's probably the easiest to use. So I'm going to go through these one by one. I'm only going to show you a short overview of the applications because my advice to you is explore them yourself. So we'll start with StudyBlue. So this is StudyBlue. Now, StudyBlue requires an account. So as soon as you open the application from the App Store, here it is in the App Store, as soon as you open it from the App Store, you'll actually be asked to create an account. So you do need an account for this one, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a limitation, but there's also some advantages to having an account in that it can sync across devices. So it's not just on this iPad. If I had the StudyBlue app on my iPhone as well, which is available, then it actually syncs all of my flashcards across those two devices. So here's how I make a card on StudyBlue. So I'm going to click on Make Cards, which is just here. And I'm going to start making a study card. So the first thing that I like about StudyBlue is that it's one of the only applications that I can find that's free that allows you to add a picture for your actual flashcard. So I'll start first of all by showing you how to add text. So I just click on flashcard and I'm going to type CPU, and then I'm going to write a CPU is the brains of the computer, and that'll do for now. So that's one study card created, as you can see. I'm going to add another card. And this time I'm going to add a picture to this card instead of just writing the term CPU. So to do that, I click on this little paperclip here. And what I can do is I can either add, as a data type, I can either add a picture from my camera. I can't actually access my camera roll, so I don't actually have to take a picture of the item. Or I can access my microphone and do a voice recording. So I'm going to click on the camera. Now the first thing you'll notice about this is that you can't have the iPad in landscape view. You've got to actually rotate it and have it in portrait view like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a picture of some RAM that I've got on my computer screen. If you have a look at the picture that I've taken there, when I press the button, that's how it looks. So it's a bit strange because what you can actually see from the camera, if I just show you again, retake, if I just show you, look there, all you can see is the RAM and a bit of my computer at the bottom. There's no web browser URL, but if I take the picture, it's actually put that URL and everything in, so it's not actually seeing exactly, or it's not actually using the image exactly as is on my camera. But I'll use that photo. I'll swap my iPad back to landscape again, and just move it up here so you can see it better. And then again, I would say random access memory, so known as RAM. So again, you can see that what I'm doing is I'm just building these flashcards, and I'll now show you how I'm going to use them. So if I just say, well, I've done, that's me finished, so I'm just going to click on done over here. It's going to say, right, okay, so what's the flashcard deck called? All these items that you put in these flashcards, what do they relate to? So I'm going to put computer components. Choose a location. Now this location is basically going to ask me where I want to save them, or in terms of categorizing these flashcards. So I'm going to add an interest. and then it'll come up with StudyBlue's sort of catalogue of different interests that you can bracket it under. So I'm just going to do a search for computer, and I'm going to put it under computer terms, computer intro to computer, computer repair, computer vision, computer hardware here. So I'm just going to click on that. There's a continue button at the bottom that you can't see. I'm just going to hit continue. Flip this back around so you can see. And then I'm going to choose that folder. I'm going to store it in that location. I'm going to make it public or private. I'm going to make this public so other people can use these flashcards if they want to. I could enter my author details and size, etc., but I'm just going to save it by hitting the save button up here. And that's it. I've created my first set of flashcards. So now if I just swipe this to the right, you can see that I now have a backpack where if I click on the computer hardware backpack, which I've just created, you can see that these are my study materials. So that's the computer components flashcards I've created. But here also are related materials of other flashcards that other people have created related to computer hardware. Now if you upgrade and pay for the StudyBlue, you can actually access these related materials. But if I try clicking on one, for example this one, and then just try clicking on these flashcards to study them, you can see that it's not available. You can only edit, you can't edit the deck. I can't actually use the cards either. And you can see that down on the right hand side here, I can't actually take the flashcards either. I can't study them, so I can't edit them. If I click on them, it won't let me edit them. And if I click on these buttons, as you'll see in a minute, I can't actually view it either. But again, if you upgrade, you can do that. So I'm just going to swipe that across. What I can do is if I access my study materials by clicking on this, I can edit them if I want to. So if I wanted to edit them, I could just click here and edit it. Like that, but I'm done. And if I want to take these study cards and I want to study them, I could actually, first of all, I have these different options. I can either flip the cards or I can take a quiz. So I'll just show you the difference between them. If I flip the cards, I can say, right, well, what do you want to do? All I'm going to do is flip the cards. I'm just going to look at them. There's not going to be any quiz element to it. I'm just going to study. So imagine if I had lots and lots of cards. How many do I want to view? I'll just put all cards. In what order? Do I want them in order? Do I want them random? Least studied, you'll see what I mean by that in just a minute. Hardest to easiest, etc. And what do I want to show first? The term, so that would be, for example, the picture, or the definition. I'm going to show the term. If I press study now, you can see that it's brought up my cards. Yeah, so that's CPU, and then if I click on that, it tells me a CPU is the brains of the computer. So I've got my key term, and then I've got my definition. And all I'm doing is I'm just clicking on them. Now, if I'm happy with that and I've studied that and I get that and I understand it and I don't want to study it again, I can click this green thumbs up and it says, right, you've done that, you know that, you've got 50% right, you're happy with it. Now, I'd have a look at this one and go, I'm not too sure about this, I can't remember exactly what that is. So I could click on it. It's random access memory. I'm not too sure about that one, so I want to study that again later. So I click on the red thumbs down. I got that wrong. And you can see here that it does summarize, right, how many you got right, how many you got wrong. So there is analysis of how well you think you did. There was no quiz element to it. It was just a study, a personal understanding of whether you got the cards or you didn't get the cards. Press done. Here at the top. And so that's how I can use the flip cards. Now if I was to flip the cards again, can you remember how I talked about hardest to easiest and the wrongs? Basically, because I pressed the up arrow, the thumbs up, the green, and the thumbs down, the red, it's now remembered that and it'll do the hardest to the easiest. So if I did this study again and again and again, it'd keep track of which ones I was finding the hardest, which ones I was finding the easiest, and I could do them in that order. Also, I could just view the ones that I got wrong. So the ones that I put the red down, thumbs down to. So I could just study the wrong ones. So that's how that works. Now, imagine if I wanted to actually take a quiz as opposed to flipping the cards. So same study pack, same flashcards, but this time I'm going to take a quiz. Click on take a quiz. Now, again, you can choose how many cards you want to choose from. And now I have the options of what format do I want to view this quiz. Do I want to do multiple choice, true or false, type the answer? Well, I can choose all of them. I can just choose some of them. So I can say, well, I want a true or false. What order do you want them in? I'll have them in order. And study now. And see how the difference is here between the flashcards you were used to, which I showed you earlier, and these. It's now asking me a question. CPU is giving my key term at the top. Is a CPU the brains of the computer? True or false? Well, that's true. There you go. Now I've got the picture. Is this a CPU is the brains of a computer? Well, no, that's not right, is it? So, false. And there you go, I've got my analysis there as well, which isn't great analysis because I've only got 2 flashcards, but imagine if I had lots. It tells me I've got 2 right, none wrong. I'm doing ace. Currently, as I've studied this pack, I've got 75%, because if you remember when I studied it earlier, I got 1 wrong. So let's just go back, and this time if I take a quiz again, instead of doing true or false, I'll do a multiple choice. Press study now. And you'll see that I can't do a multiple choice for this because it basically hasn't got enough flashcards in the deck to generate a multiple choice. So I'd need more flashcards in the deck, but what it would do is it'd give me a multiple choice set of questions. Okay, so press OK. If I take a quiz again, let's try type the answer. Study now. You can see now, look, type the definition, then stamp submit. So I've got to now write the definition for a CPU. So if I go, a CPU is the brains of the computer, and then hit submit. Type the definition, random, yes, so this one was random. Let's just get a bit wrong, okay, so access memory, RAM. So you can see I've actually got this one wrong because it should say random access memory and it says random ACE memory. Press submit and it tells me where I got it wrong. Yep. So here again I got 1 right, 1 wrong. Press done. And that is StudyBlue. You can see it's got great features in order to help you study and revise. You've got to obviously take a bit of time to build your cards, but if you could do that whilst you're learning, it's really going to help you in the long run. So that's StudyBlue. Let me show you the next one that I wanted to show you. So the next one I want to show you is called Flashcards, but again it's called Flashcards by Flatter World. Again, this one actually requires an account. So when you log on, it's going to ask you to set up an account. Now with this one, you can actually link it to your Edmodo account. Although I've tried to do that and there seems to be some problems syncing it. But you can actually log in with your Edmodo account if you want to give that a go. Similar to StudyBlue, you've got to create a stack. So that's the stack of flashcards. You can actually search stacks as well. So I might want to search for computer. So here's stacks that other people have created. So computer parts hardware, I can click on that. And these are a stack of cards that have already been created by other people, all about hardware of a computer, which are fantastic. So if I add that to my collection, I can now carry out and use these study cards myself. So click on that. What is it? This is correctly called a computer case. It's not correctly called a computer or box or shell. It's a case. Okay, I'm happy with that. Go to the next one. What is this? It's RAM. I'm good with that. What is this? I'm not quite sure, so I'm not sure about that one. What is this? Power supply. Yeah. So you can see how I'm going through this, and I'll just keep going through them so you can see the results of what happens. Keeps going through them until I get them right. There you go. Look, I got 1 incorrect and 8. 1 incorrect and 8 correct. Do I want to study again, or am I finished? Click finished. And then obviously this is now part of my study pack. What I can do though is if I want to, I can create my own flashcards by clicking on this plus sign at the top. Give my stack a name. So again, computer components. Do I want to share the stack with others? I'll put that yes, I don't mind sharing it with others. Choose a subject. There's not actually technology in here, so I'm just going to leave it as choose a subject. Select a grade, so it's 8th grade, create the stack. Now, this app would be absolutely brilliant if it would allow me to add pictures as well. And you can say, well, it does, but if I click on it, you can see that that's on the Pro version only for the single license. So if you want to add pictures to your flashcards using this application, you'd need to pay to upgrade it. Alternatively, I can just, again, type in a question. So type in my key term, flip the card, write my answer. The brains of the computer. Okay, press the plus sign to add another flashcard. And again, I can't add pictures, so I'll just write RAM, flip the card, random access memory. So I actually really like this app. It's really nice. I like how it links in with Edmodo. I like the variety of the store, the different flashcards created by other people that you can search for. But the only downside is that you have to actually pay to add pictures. Another feature this has got that's really nice is if I type in, for example, my key term, which is RAM, it actually can define that word for me, so I don't have to type in the actual definition. It will type it in for me, but again, that's on the paid version. So if I just click on that, look, again, it wants the paid version. So if I just click done, so I've done with this stack, and here are my flashcards. So CPU, click on it, the brains of the computer, yeah, I'm happy with that. RAM, random access memory, yeah, well done, I'm happy with that, tick tick, and I got 2 correct. So that is Flashcards by Flatter World. The last one that I want to show you, Flashcards Plus. So Flashcards Plus, this one. This was the first one that I stumbled across actually when searching for flashcard applications, and I really liked it straight away. One of the main reasons was the fact that I didn't have to create an account. I just click on it, open it up, here it is. So how does this work? Very similar to the one I've just showed you. First of all, I want to create a deck up here. Oh, I can find other decks as well. Let me show you that bit first. I can click on find other decks. I can search for ones in art and literature. So I want all the literature ones. I want fiction. CSE Chapter 1 review. And these are all the flashcards for that. And I could download that if I want to. So click on download. However, I can also, like I said, create my own stack. So, create a stack. Again, computer components, description, all about computers. Create. Term. Again, you can't add pictures in this one. That's the only downside as well. You know, if I wanted to take a picture of some hardware and then, you know, see if I could define it, you can't do that at all on this one, which is not even if you upgrade, you can't do that. So term CPU, the brains of the computer. Add another one, RAM, and random access memory. I'm done with this one, and you can see here that these are my actual flashcards that I've created for this deck, computer components, and now I can study it. I can flip the cards up by just scrolling my finger over them, brains of the computer, flip them back down, tick them if I'm happy with it, don't tick them if I'm not happy with it. I also like this feature where I can have it read it out for me. I can choose the language that I want it reading it out. So let's go for English? Do I want the back? So the front side was, do you want it to actually read the key term, and do you want it to actually try and read the definitions well? Done.
CPU.
So you can see it's reading it out for me.
The brains of the computer.
That's quite nice. I like that feature. I can
CPU.
Yep, I can click on this button down here to increase the font size, in case I can't read it very well. This button here will actually shuffle the cards for you. If I were to click that, there you go, I've shuffled them. I've only got 2, but it would shuffle them. And this button down here, it flips the cards. So
Random access memory.
What I might want to see is actually the definition, and then see if I can guess the key term. So random access memory, that would be RAM. Yeah, that's it.
RAM.
I'm happy with that.
The brains of the computer.
That is the CPU.
CPU.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Done.
RAM.
Oh, yeah, okay.
RAM.
Oh, okay, alright. And that's that done. So if I go back, I can now see an analysis here of tick that one, you're happy with that. Tick that one, you're happy with that. And it says here that I have learned 2, and there are none to learn. So again, a bit of analysis of how much you know about this this deck as it is. So there's 3 fantastic applications that are free to use on the iPad. There are pro versions, obviously, which will give you added features, which I've discussed throughout. But I do think that these flashcards are fantastic tools for you to learn key terms and definitions. And especially in when learning about, for example, computer components. If you use the StudyBlue app, you could take pictures of those and then write some definitions about them to help you remember them that way as well. So why not give one a go, or give 2 a go, or give all 3 a go, and see how you get on.